Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to SFR for round 11 of the championship. Here we are in Zandvoort, and alongside me tonight is SFR Oliver. How you doing, mate? You alright?
Yeah, not so bad, buddy. Ready for another race week in the Netherlands and the Fort. Another fun little racetrack, this one with very deadly high curbs after a very frantic, a very dramatic ending to last week's race. So, yeah, a very good race week, and let's have it. Let's go for Holland. Let's go for it.
Yes, indeed. As we were in Mexico last week for round number 10, and somebody said about rain. Let's see. If it's raining, I'm going to choke slam Indigo. Oh, very nice. Thank you very much, Samid. So I hope it don't rain. I hope it does rain then, because I want you to choke slam me. But here we are then, 18-minute qualifier session, and I don't see anybody out on the circuit so far. So I think they're all playing their setups and getting ready to go once these drivers have applied their setups and put the fuel in the car. But usually we see some drivers out of the track. So here we are. Then we've got a Ferrari making their way out of the garage, and an Alfa Romeo too. That's a Haas, sorry, I got confused between the colours there. In fact, let me wear my glasses because I say this every time, I can't see anything without my glasses, so it'd be quite helpful to put them on, and they are on. So we've got two drivers on the circuit then, and let's see who they are. It's not Lord Danny Boy, I think it is. It's
Jargemel and Zenon.
Yakima had a decent race back in Mexico. I think he finished in P5 or P6, I'm not quite sure, but his pace started to show after the Singapore Grand Prix. Can he keep it up for the third race in a row? Yagamal. And also, Lad Danny Boy's had some decent results too, but Zeno is on the track. Zeno has struggled. He was at the lower end of the field, unfortunately, in Mexico. His best result so far was actually at the first race of the season in Spain, and ever since then he has struggled. But fair play to him, he has stayed and tried his absolute best. He's got 64 points to his name, currently ahead of JDM as well. And we've seen JDM in the top 10 a few times. In fact, he's not here tonight, so that could be the driver who we are missing. In fact, no, it isn't, because Adam's in the session, so he is a reserve driver. I think we are missing Mackett because he's currently on the toilet then, so he'll join halfway through qualifying like it was back at the Mexican Grand Prix. But MDJ is actually going past people, so he wants to start his fly lap first. That's Rogue Smithy actually, so go on board with the Williams of Rogue Smithy there. Didn't have the decent race back in Mexico, but we'll see how he does here tonight.
Did he even race it? No, he didn't race in Mexico because he had a quali ban, but he's returned tonight.
Here he is then, riding off the final corner to start his first official flying lap. I expect pole to be a low 8. If anybody can get the 7s, that'll be very impressive. But here we are, going down into turn 1, braking before the 50-meter board, into 4th gear, cranking the car in, use the 4th gear only, then down shift to 3rd for extra rotation, flick it into 2nd corner, then into turn number 3, downhill section we go. As soon as the car is straightened up, get back in the throttle. You don't really want to use the outside curb, and now coming towards the left or right hander, just following the lines there, and coming into this fast right hander we go. 24.3 the first set, a slight lift off. It is flat out, I think, but some people like to downshift into 6th, some people stay in 7th, depends how it all feels. But here we are, into the double hander we go, very nicely through there, heading into turn number 9 we go. You want to use all the berth, all the track as you could possibly get away with, because you want to open up this corner really nicely using the DRS for this second DRS zone. As we head into this little chicane we go, the car could skittle on the gravel there, so you be very careful as you enter that corner. And now coming towards the penultimate corner, turn 14, slightly missing the apex there. I don't think you really want to hit it as much, but you want to get as close to it as you can. Coming towards the final corner now, flat out corner, should have no problems there as DRS is enabled. His first lap time is a 9.6.
Yeah, good luck there for Rogue Smithy. There's Jargemel, put an 088. So times are starting to come in. Martin is currently on his outlap at the moment. What about his teammate MDJ? But across the line now, goes into P3, just ahead of his teammate by 0.3 of a second. And Noldis is just coming around towards sector 3. Now, the funny thing about this track, it's very characteristic. It's like the Formula 1 version of NASCAR with the banked corners. They can help you out, but at the same time, you need to take them with extra care, especially around this corner when Noldis is coming through now. If you take too much curb, it's going to spit you out onto that curb on the outside, and of course, when that happens, the car is going to be beached. And there's also another part of the circuit. Jargemel, 5-piece grid for collision with Senon. So that has happened. That's unfortunate for him. I don't see any damage on the car, so I think that might get appealed.
You don't really see penalties for collision. It's usually, oh, Martin there, getting it all wrong at the curb, takes out the 50 and 100 meter board. So whoever's running no assist, might be a bit angry with Martin there, because they need the reference points, especially that circuit where you could have fast speeds and you need to turn in without hitting the too much curb there. But fortunately for Martin, getting it all wrong, he's on the medium compound tyres anyway, so not producing the best grip. Same with Adams as well. And Ramavaj goes to the top of the time machine with an 8.7. Was contention of a podium finish last season here in the Netherlands. And also Glock, who had a 3-second time penalty, lost out the victory towards Overwatch. Overwatch did participate in a few races, but unfortunately has not been seen since. And Bear Remy goes to the top of the time sheets with an 8.6 there. Sonic Hawk goes into P10. So Glock has got some decent pace around here, evidently by last season. Can he repeat it here this season though? And let's see what he does. He comes towards the line. It's an 8.4.
The times are coming down. The track is starting to rubber. Draugen about to come next. Now, how's Harry Kane going to respond to last week's race after losing by such a little a margin due to a 3-second time penalty? Draugen goes into P4. But how is Harry Kane going to respond to MDJ's victory? Now MDJ has extended his championship lead with that victory. It's gonna be like a mindset game how Harry Kane's gonna respond, because that was such a close finish at the end of that last race. Unbelievable. With NDG winning it after breaking the somewhat curse of not winning a Grand Prix, he has now got that under spell. What confidence is that going to bring him to this event? We shall see.
And especially his home Grand Prix too. I think he finished P4 last year, so they both got detached from the DRS train. I think they pitted a bit late and therefore couldn't catch up to the top two. I believe a safety car was involved as well, as Overwatch and Glock did pit together at the same time, I believe it is. Atlas Copo is currently on his flying lap. Other times I had a bad season so far. Draugen is currently in P4 after the Austrian Grand Prix has showed some mega pace. He hasn't got a win yet at Draugen, but he's got a few podiums to his name. Actually missed out the podium in Mexico after being overtaken by MDJ and Ramavaj and picked himself up a 3-second time penalty, which was very costly indeed. And here comes his teammate Atlas coming towards the line now. It's going to be P11 for him with a 9.4. So they're in the 9s, and you want to be in the 8s to get a good lap time in. Harry Kane in P6 there. Obviously, we know he likes to go for multiple runs on the same set of the soft compound tyres, so hence why he's currently in P6 with not a representative lap time, it must be said. Samid is currently on a lap, is the Scotsman. I do believe he missed out on the Mexican Grand Prix, and he did turn up, I think, at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, but couldn't quite hook it up, unfortunately, in qualifying, and therefore didn't pick up a decent result. But here he is then, is Samid making his way towards the penultimate corner at 14. He did have a decent race at Hungary, but unfortunately got taken out as well. He is quite far down in the championship in P15, not where we used to see Samid at all, considering he's had some mega results last season. He's currently in P10 with a 9.3, then just a bit away from the 8s there, it seems, for those guys. So you want to be aiming around the 8s, whereas Nordis is just there with a 9.0 then. So there are your initial lap times for you, as Berry once again doing a great job for Red Bull, currently putting that Red Bull in P2. We know what happened to Red Bull last week. They both made contact, but Harry Kane did say it was because of lag. He didn't take him out on purpose, obviously. He wouldn't have done that. But yeah, hopefully both Red Bulls there can recover from last week, because one spun and the other one had a 3-second time penalty and just missed out on the win there by a tenth or two. And MDJ took the victory, his first victory of the season. So can he continue this momentum into the next few races, and especially his home Grand Prix, coming off a win there?
Martin currently on the lap now, just started his run after a costly mistake in the first run. This is his second run. Let's see how, is he not going to go wide here? He almost did. That's one of the deadliest corners of the circuit there. I've done that, 4 times during last night's race in Division 2. Very, very nasty corner. It can beat you and cost you time ever so dearly. That corner that actually cost me second place actually in last night's race. Thank you very much. And we've got Harry Kane moving up into P3 at the moment. Here comes Martin now around the final corner. How tight is it going to be? Very tight in the last corner to shove off so much time. But here it comes round towards the line. It's going to be P9 for Martin.
Great effort indeed for Martin. Obviously, in the last few races, he has been outside the top 10. Actually, retired too in Mexico because he got taken out not on the within about 5 seconds after the lights. That's why we saw him so far down. Yeah, I think he tried to overtake Vettel, but Vettel moved across and he lost traction, and therefore
Oh, Laser's
Martin was
going to come across the traffic here. Laser's got traffic. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Is that Nordis on his outlap? Is it?
That's Noldis. It's Noldis. Yeah, Noldis on an outlap. He's cost Laser. Oh, Laser's not going to be happy about that. Noldis should have learnt in his track map, and that was going to be a slam dunk, surely, on the penalty side of things. Laser is not going to be happy.
Yeah, like it was back in Saudi Arabia where we saw Harry Kane being hindered by Jagermal, and this happened here again in the Netherlands. You can be very careful. We had a few problems in qualifying, one with a collision with two drivers, and now with a block-in too. And they won't get penalties in-game, but after the steward's decision, he will get a penalty, we'll notice. Noldis has been doing a decent job so far. He's actually on a flying lap, is the Aston Martin Danish driver as well. So here he is, making his way. He's actually a 10th up in the first set. It's a bit wide through there, and he'll pick up a lot of understeer due to that as well. A lot of steering input, and now bouncing over the curves there, gets away with it. Usually you lose the back end, but it looks like the car can withstand the forces being made. Glock goes to P1 with an 8.3. Very good lap time indeed, as I predicted Pole to be a low 8. I don't think it'd be a 7, but it's Alfa Romeo who's off the track at turn 8, as Nordis is a 10th up in the middle sector there. Bit scruffy going into that part of the section in the chicane. Had a bit too much speed and went a bit wide, and now coming towards the penultimate corner at 14, and now coming towards the final corner. DRS is further up, of course, and let's see what Nordis can do in the Aston Martin. He can find more time actually. It's a P7 and he only improves just by his own lap time.
Yeah, so Jargamel goes up into P2 with 1:08.6. That is an incredible lap from the Haas driver. That is something to keep an eye on. Glock improved his lap time immensely, which is a very good job from him. Atlas Scopo is about to come through towards the line now in the Alpha Tauri. Let's see how he does. Go towards the line, and he'll set a 1:09.3. So he has improved, but only by a small margin. It did cost himself in the last part of Sector 3. So that's it's a little bit costly, to say the least. And we've got Berimi doing his usual. He's now gone up into P2 with 1:08.4. Lord Danaboy is about to start his flying lap. Who else is on the lap? So we've got Samad in the Alpine. Just doing his lap now. So yeah, so Samad, very decent drive from him at the moment in the midfield. Let's see how he does through the second sector. We've got he's got a car in front of him. He's an Alpha Tauri, just up ahead of him, but it looks like he's on a lap. I think that is
Alas.
yeah, that's the one. So here we go. Salmon is 6/10 down, so he is losing a lot of time. It's not one of his best laps, to say the least. I don't think the Alpha Tauri is going to hinder him too much. But let's see how Salmon does towards the final couple of corners. Round it goes. As one of the McLarens has just come through, that's Aiden's, goes up into P8.
Contact! Contacts in the pit lane there, as Samir did not respond to the speed of the Alpha Tauri, but I don't think neither of them get a penalty. So that was very lucky there, because that could have been easier 5-place grid penalties. That's the third incident I've seen so far in this qualifying session there, and thankfully none of them broke the car, and they're able to continue as Lord Danny Boy makes his way towards the final corner and back in the pit lane. So a bit of a null in qualifying as things settle down for the time being, but give it a minute's time, everybody be out the circuit. And also, I want to talk about Laser as well, still down in P19. He usually does this in qualifying where he goes rather late in qualifying, but actually he's out the circuit now. One of the only drivers other than his teammate on the circuit have got more appearing on the track too. So Laser there with 3 minutes and 50 seconds left to go. Let's see what lap time he can produce. He's a very quick driver, but recently he hasn't scored on the podium since the 3rd race of the season. We're on round 10, so 7 races now he hasn't got a podium. So let's see if he can break that streak. He's been finishing around P4, P5 and P6 type of area, so let's hope he can find some pace, because he was a championship contender last season, but something's changed this season, whether he's struggling with the car, whether other people have picked up the pace, who knows, could be a combination of both there, but he has had some decent results in the past, so he's very consistent as well. Only one retirement back in Monza, I do believe he got taken out. I don't think he crashed on his own accord, but here we are then, Laser accelerating and braking. You'll see plenty of this in the F1 game as the drivers there to warm up their tyres. You don't see the left and right weaving as you used to anymore in the last old games. It's all about braking and accelerating too, as you can get rid of some fuel as well. I was going to say, when Laser got blocked by Noldus, the problem is, if you get blocked in the last sector, you can't go for another lap time if you do have the fuel, because you won't have the battery. It's such a power battery draining track. It's so hard to regenerate the EOS, and this is crucial in the race too. We'll always see some people break the train and try and use the EOS to try and get back in the DRS train, but if they don't, they're going to be running low on batteries throughout the whole race, because you're on the throttle mostly as Laser goes into turn 3 there. Looks like he's hooked it up really nicely off board camera and into turn 3 exit of it. Let's see what he does now coming towards the end of the first sector. There's going to be a 23.9 decent first sector, downshift into 6th gear, picking up the throttle immediately then into this double right-hander we go. Don't want to clutch
Yeah,
that
it's got
there.
two cars ahead of him, so hopefully these two cars will be aware that Laser is coming.
Very true indeed, and that's a Haas in front of him as well. It might give him a bit of turbulent air, but gets out of the way, and the other car is an AlphaTauri who should get out of the way too, which he does, a 47.6 in the middle sector there as he tackles the curbs very nicely there, braking late, no signs of wheel spin or oversteer. Now coming towards the penultimate corner for Laser. This looks like a decent lap time. I don't see any obvious mistakes on board with Laser, so this should put him in the 8s it seems, and now makes his way towards the line. What can he do as he crosses the line now? It's an 8.4.
Very good lap there for Laser. Glock is on a flying lap. Let's see how much he can improve on his pole time going in the Mercedes. He got screwed over a few times this season as Glock in recent races, but looks like this is on a very good, this is the Glock we used to see. Fast flowing, powerful, undeniably quick. Let's see, this car's knocking out of the way. He is. Very good work there. I think that was Rogue Smith he just got past.
Oh dear.
Oh no, he's having an absolute stinker in this qualifying session.
Has Noldus forgot how to use the mirrors? Both cars are stationary at the chicane, turn 10 and turn 11. What are they doing? They're both together. What's going? Are they stopped together? Is that a crash?
Is that Noldus? It's Noldus. No, it's Noldus Beach. If that's a Ferrari, Noldus and a Ferrari. What's going on here? That's Noldus and Zenith. Oh my goodness. Oh dear. Noldus. Zenith's been disqualified for part of the dangerous. Oh, this is a shame. This is a real shame.
So we've got a Mercedes who's broke its wing. I don't know what's going on in this qualifying session here, but Dragon is up into P5, and we've got Glock retiring. He's not happy with his lap time. He didn't improve either, I don't think he did. He backed out of it, and maybe got distracted by a few cars in the last sector. But Berimi is on a flyer. Let's see what he does in the middle sector. It's a 47.3 for Berimi, a 10th up in the middle sector. Is this 10th going to be enough to put him on pole position? A bit of oversteer on the exit there as he applies the throttle, going down into the penultimate corner, rides the curbs very nicely, DRS enabled. I don't see the Williams improving either. MDJ, is that him on the right hand side? I'm not quite sure, but had a stink up qualified. Here comes Berimi, it's pole! It's an 8.2, Berimi's first pole this season. He's done it in the Red Bull, but is anybody going to respond now?
MDJ is responding. He's 3/10 quicker in the second set. It's a purple. This could be a very stonk of a lap from MDJ here.
I see a Haas off the track at turn 8, but let's see what MDJ does. Can he take pole at his home Grand Prix? 3/10 up. Let's see if he can get the 8s first, never mind pole. Yeah, it's going to be an 8.6. He puts himself into P5. Does MDJ Dragon is not a lap time. Harry Kane goes into P4. Laser's still in P3. Great qualifying for Laser. He needed it so far. At last in the AlphaTauri, 3/10 down, not on a lap time. What about Smokey, 17th place? Neither is he. Sonic Hawk has crossed the line to go P18. And Mackie, who joined late in qualifying, is starting P19. And Xenom, who stayed off the track for a long time. I'm not quite sure if Noldus and Xena made contact down there. They stayed off the track as they knew other people were coming. But however, it's a messy qualifying session, folks, because we've got two people having penalties. We've got a disqualification. We saw somebody hit somebody in the pit lane. We had so many things happen in qualifying. It's only qualified so far, and we've had a lot of drama.
Wow, wow, what a very, you don't really say this often, but what a very incident-filled qualified session. We never normally say that. That is absolutely unbelievable. But well done to Berimi with a one at 8.2, a tenth faster than Glock. That was an unbelievable session. That I have lost for words how incident filled that was.
Glock says too much traffic, which hindered his lap time, understandably of course, but it is a low 8.2 as Berimi sets the pace there in the Red Bull. Then Berimi's looking strong this season, got missed out on a potential win slash podium, but he could come back strong here in the Netherlands too. We know Glock's got some decent pace because he finished second in the Grand Prix after having a 5-second time penalty from Overwatch. Yagamal, 5 plays grid penalty. Nolder's 5 plays grid penalty. This session will not be restarted because if you get a 5 plays grid penalty due to collision, that's your own fault really. You're going to pay attention. But if you get a 5 plays grid penalty due to blocking, that's when the lobby's restarted.
Yeah, it is true. It is true. If you cause the collision, unfortunately, that one is on you, and it's your responsibility to look out for the cars around the track. Yeah, unfortunately, that has turned out to be the case. But well done to Berimi, unbelievable lap. Glock and Laser. It's nice to see Laser up there in P3. We haven't seen that for a while in the top 5. But that's disqualifying. We got the race to go, yeah, and we know how, you know what lap one's going to be like in the first few corners. So hopefully these Division 1 drivers can keep it all sensible in the first few corners, because the first few corners will be very, very twisty. Sonic Hawk has left the session. Hopefully it's not going to be Hopefully it's not going to be a session restart. Oh, it is a.
It says everyone retire lap 1, so it could be a lobby restart, but I want to clarify why it's a lobby restart. Because if you get a 5 plays grid penalty due to collisions, both 5 plays grid penalties was because of collisions, and that's your own fault, like you said, because you're gonna get out of people's way.
So we're going to try to get clarification why, but as we are waiting for a lobby for a restart, can I just say congratulations Carlos Sainz for getting your appendix removed, and reward for doing that, get an F1 race victory in Australia. So congratulations to Carlos Sainz, and I'd like to see a new race winner for once in Formula One. So well done, good Australian Grand Prix. It wasn't one of the best still, but it's good to see a new winner up there.
Doing a lobby restart, boys, just the race to see the weather. I've not heard that one before, but that's very interesting.
That is very, very new. Very, very new. I never heard that one before.
So, what's the instructions? Are we supposed to stay in the lobby or leave?
So I don't know. Doing a lobby restart was just a race to see the weather. So it looks like it's a lobby restart.
Oh, I see. So we're doing a lobby restart, but we're not changing people's qualified positions. Whoever's got a 5 plays grid penalty will stay there. But something's wrong with the weather apparently, so that's why we had a lobby restart.
It's a weather glitch. It sounds like it's a weather glitch. That is very new to me. I never had that before. That is very, very new.
I'll tell you a glitch. The Australian Grand Prix I raced in a few days ago, I got stuck at the final corner. I was in the DRS train fighting for P1. Then at the final corner, I got stuck at on the corner, like into neutral. Went from 100 miles an hour to 0 very quickly. Neutral, revving the car out. But that was a very strange glitch. That glitch has been there for a very long time, and it's still there. Australia's got a few glitches because usually, if you get a penalty somewhere, you pick up a lot of penalties at that particular part of the track, even though you got across it once or something like that. So,
oh wow,
this game's got a lot of glitches still.
We got F1 24 in a few months' time. This is what I say about.
Oops. I'm not quite sure if I was supposed to leave the lobby or not, or if we're setting a new one up.
In general, like Call of Duty and launching games early, which I understand because you want to launch games early to get the revenue and all that. But it does come at a price of glitches and technical faults, very technical faults in the system. And in my view, that is becoming a recurring problem. I remember F1 games coming out in like September, November time, which is alright because you want to get the most out of it, but having an enjoyable experience. But now we're in the new 10 now that we want to release games now in early succession. COD sort of does this okay, releasing it a little bit later in the year, around winter, but in terms of racing games in general, especially with this one, and I'll involve EAWRC in this subject, they're releasing games way too early, and they tend to have their faults. And that's my view. I think it's a bad move and wrong decision. I think it's rushed and it's not right, in my view. I think that games should have their time and, do it perfectly rather than releasing it to the public and have their faults.
And also, I don't know, to your point there, I agree. But this game, well, not this game, but Codemasters, ever since like when they took over a long time ago, every single game they've released have always had glitches in the F1 game. Every single time, and they can't get it right. And also, we've got features like sports cars, which we don't really want to have. I don't think I know a single person in the F1 community that does the sports car thing. So I think they should get rid of that and focus more on the fixing the online servers, the racing, the glitches, all of that.
I agree. Error failed to join the session. Okay, that's new. I've never had that one before as well. So yeah, I totally agree. It's been happening ever since, especially with multiplayer lobbies. It's been happening for years, and it seems like they're more focused on the big things like F1 My Team or F1 Career Mode, and they never focus. Even when back in the day when they had the leagues area, do you remember that in F1 2020? And that they had the leagues area, and you could actually make your own league. That would have been perfect for us, but there are so many faults of it. You had to sit to private lobbies.
Yeah, you're bringing back memories there. I do remember that. That's an old memory right there, even though it was about 4 years ago. I remember there was a constant yellow flag all the time in all the games as well. Ever since when someone crashes, the yellow flag just stays there for the rest of the race. That ruins things too. A safety car comes out on lap 1 as soon as the lights go out. That happens before as well. But there's plenty of bugs and glitches that this game and the previous games and the future games that needs to be sorted out. So hopefully that can happen because it just ruins everyone's experience as well. I'm going to go to toilet, by the way, while we've got this free period.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's one of those at the end of the day. I think if I'm going to pick up my favorite F1 game back in the day, I really enjoyed F1 2010. Even the curbs there are sort of lethal sometimes, but I could sort of handle it. F1 2013 was solid. Even F1 2020 was a very solid game as well. Yes, it had its moments in league racing where it had its faults, but I really enjoyed F1 2020. I mean, the cars were performing well. The game itself was performing very well. They even had classic cars back then, which brings a whole new variety. Bring the classic cars back. I really enjoyed racing the classic cars on time trial and racing. I really enjoyed that racing the 2008 McLaren, the 1990, even the McLaren MP4 I really enjoyed. I really thoroughly enjoyed F1 2020. I think it was a very solid game. So we're just waiting for the lobby to get underway again. So what's happening in the... Let's have a look in terms of the championship. Let's have a look at the classified standings. Let's see where we are with that at the moment. So MDJ leads on 223 with his victory last week, and Harry Kane's in second on 218. So that's going to be becoming interesting at the moment. In the constructors, Red Bull 340, Mercedes 317, Williams on 306. So Williams has got some catching up to do in that aspect. The drivers' championship is becoming quite tight. Glock on 199, Berimi on 170, Lays on 168, and then there's a big gap to Draugen on 119. Martin's doing very solid though with 118 points, only 1 point behind Draugen with 118, and a few more behind is Mackett. Surprised to see Ramovage down there in ninth though with only 99 points. There's quite a big gap there between Mackett and Ramovage. So yeah, in terms of championships, pretty tight in Division 1 to say the least.
Yeah, it is, and MDJ got his first win after a long time as well, so that might help his spirits in the championship, and he leads by 5 points like you said. He's had more podiums than the rest of them. Harry Kane's had 3 wins but 6 podiums. MDJ's had 2 more podiums as well, and Harry Kane's been a bit inconsistent as well. He's been very quick, but on an off race or two he has had problems before, like his internet lagged out in Austria too. I remember a race in Hungary where he spun out too, which is very unusual to see, and Austria didn't go his way either, and Spain, I think he spun. So yeah, but after that he has recollected himself and he's scored some decent results. Got his first win in Saudi Arabia, or his third win of the Saudi Arabia too, and Mexico he narrowly missed out the win due to a 3-second time penalty and a collision with his own teammate, but obviously that wouldn't have been a report because it was due to lag. But both Red Bulls, ever since they teamed together back in Baku, they've been looking really strong as well. So let's see if those boys can keep it up, because they're currently, I think, in the lead of the championship. Yes, they are, by 33 points ahead of Mercedes, and Williams are quite far back as well, with AlphaTauri doing well. AlphaTauri been doing very good this season as well, especially Jargon. He's been very quick altogether, and let's see if he can get his first win of the season too. He's definitely a contender for a winner here in SFR.
Yeah. Just ready to go now. Yeah, green light from MDJ. Here we go. This is it.
And also Ramovage too. He's had 4 podiums this season, but he's only on 99 points, and that's because he's had a few did not starts as well. So that's why he's quite far down in the championship order.
Yeah, that makes it understandable. Yeah.
He's still P9, but if he had turned up in a few more races, maybe he's got some other things going on in his personal life. But overall, he's been doing quite well as Ramovage. He also won at the Hungarian Grand Prix, defending from Laser Lord and MDJ at the time too. But the 36th lap race will get underway very shortly. But first, we have the formation lap where everybody warms their tyres and brakes up, etc. And let's see what tyres people opt to go for too. It should be a one-stop strategy, but of course safety cars will be inevitable around here.
It is looking quite murky out there, so it could be potential of a rainy race. So rain is in the air, but it depends how it stays overcast and turns to sunny, or goes to overcast to rain. So that's another factor we're going to have here in Holland. Are we going to see some wet weather coming in? So that's going to be a very interesting factor. Now, how's the start going to look like going into turns 1 to 4? Because it tend to have big accidents in that sort of part of the circuit when I was jotting a 5-4 position on track. Because Zandvoort is not often an overtaker circuit; it's mostly the last corner down to turn 1.
Oliver, look in the general chat, mate. That might answer your question. Have a quick look at the general chat. There's a picture in there DJ's just put in.
I'll have a look, see now. Here we go, find new messages coming in. Oh, nice.
We just spoiled
Answers
ourselves
my
there.
question. MDJ spoiled my surprise. Okay, so like I was saying before, turns 1 to 4 on at the start will be a little bit. Um, it will be a little bit hectic. Let's see if the drivers can sort themselves out. Full 20 cars on the circuit, another full grid, which is a nice turnout to see. And so if you want to join in Speed Force Racing, you can do. We're going to Grid Finder, and of course, and come and see us. Hope you're checking the sentence on the website. Yes, I have checked on the website, and yes, check out Speed Force Racing on the website as well. You could join through there as well. And how does this website Speed Force Racing got 653, only 7 away from the big 700? So that's not too bad from SFR's YouTube channel. Please give us a subscribe and follow. Yeah, and welcome to the show.
Welcome indeed. SFR been around for a very long time indeed. If you check the YouTube channel for the previous races, obviously we're on season 15 right now. I think I was involved in about season 3 or season 4 in terms of racing, but took a long hiatus, then came back as a commentator. Obviously started 6 years ago at the first race as well, streamed in Spain. The previous races weren't streamed back then either, but what a roller coaster ride. SFR has had a lot of changing drivers too. There was a lot of quick drivers when I raced here as well back in 2019 and 2020, but it's all shuffled around now, and Laser Lord has been around the longest too ever since then. I could have been around the longest, but took a break from personal reasons, then came back as a commentator. And Glock says I've got the best pace, I reckon, but it's hard to overtake, so especially when I've got no help with a teammate up front. Probably shots towards Martin there, but he is trying his best in the second Mercedes. And it's very important as well to have your teammate up there too to help in terms of strategy and DRS as well. On the downside, it can really disadvantage you because let's say a safety car comes out, you're on the same strategy, you got to double stack. We've seen plenty of drivers who are lost out or dropped down the order because of double stacking. We saw it with Glock as well back at the Mexican Grand Prix where double stack was an issue. As his teammate went to the pit lane to change his wing, caused a safety car. Glock went to the pit lane, had to double stack behind his teammate, lost his wing, went from P4 to P8 and lost his race from there. So yeah, double stacking can be a massive disadvantage as well. You can be in the right place at the right time, and sometimes it's out of your control as well. It's just all about the timings around here in F1.
Yeah, it is all about timing. Here we go, formation lap. I just want to do a quick shout out to here in SFR to the directors and the commentators like us lot and the standings people and the admins. Big shout out to you lot to keep this league running and may we go fourth in SFR. We are growing very slowly to become a big standout league here. But yeah, big shout out to everyone involved in SFR. I've been here since season 5 in a Haas car, and now driving for Haas this season on season 15. So 10 seasons later, I'm back with a team that I started with. So that's a big little bit of a throwback in my view. And actually, I'm starting season 5 and now season 15. So I've been racing for 10 seasons. This is my full decade in seasons here in SFR. So big, huge commitment, especially you as well, Indigo. You, of course, started in season 3, and of course you took a bit of a hiatus, but you have come back as a wonderful commentator. So big pat on the back for you. So yeah, can't wait for this. It's going to be a bit of a race coming on here with Red Bull 1 and 4. Can they do what they always do? Get themselves in the front and control the race before the rain starts coming in. Let's see what happens.
Majority of the drivers are on the hard compound tyres. I appreciate your comment too, Oliver. You're a great commentator and a developing driver too. I did look at the standings in Tier 1 a few seasons ago. You were up there one time as well, so you are a great driver. But you are in Div 2, so hopefully you can get yourself back in Div 1. You were here last season in Div 1, I remember commentating over you, and you had a podium back in the Canadian Grand Prix. I never forget that either, because
that was a lucky podium, and a podium I lost, so
yeah, I think I remember why, because of Laser.
Yeah, I had an internet issue and it sort of clicked into Laser's backside. I apologise, lost a penalty, which is very well deserved. I take it with full honour, but here we go. This is it, Jamie. This is the start of the Netherlands Grand Prix. Here is Zandvoort.
First introduced back in 1952, returned to the calendar in 2021. Ever since then, it's been Verstappen's to win. But who's going to win it tonight? We've got a Red Bull on pole, 5 lights. And we are away for round 11 of the Zandvoort Grand Prix. Let's see who gets a better start. Looks like Glock gets a better start initially, but as we head down into turn 1, Glock has got the inside line into 1. Can Berimi stick it around the outside? Yes, he can hold his ground, but they remain wheel to wheel. Who's going to yield here? None of them. They're going side by side again into turn number 3. Berimi has the inside line. Glock trying to stick it on the outside. He gets better traction. Slight contact there between the Red Bull and the Mercedes. Laser still in P3. Berimi on the grass as they continue their fight, going down into turn 7. Glock has the inside. Berimi has the outside line, carrying more speed. Jagamel is on the medium compound tyres. He's trying to overtake Laser. Gets clapped on the curb there. There's a Hurricanes off the track along with MDJ2. They both made contact behind Jagamel. Got caught out.
Word.
And now it's going to be a massive midfield fight because they both rejoined in P11 and in P12 due to that contact there with Jagamel who got put on the curb there unfortunately, and they're all bunched up in a concertina effect, causing some drivers to go off the track. But yeah,
MDJ's
more
got damage.
action.
MDJ's got damage. He's slowing down. So MDJ is slowing down. I think he's got front wing damage. So this is a bad start for MDJ here. This could cause costly for his championship at the moment.
No evident from wind damage, but it could be very minor, could be yellow, but he's struggling, it seems, in that Williams there. He's got the Aston Martin Sonic Hawk right behind. Glock is right behind Berry. What a great battle between those two. The Mercedes versus Red Bull from turn 1 to turn 7. Very respectful, very clean. That's what we want to see from those guys.
Yeah, I totally agree. Full on commitment and full on respect between the two drivers, which I'm very glad to see. That's something you should really keep an eye on as well in this game. There's the proximity arrows. If you really keep it on them very cleanly, you can have a very good, clean and fair fight. Ask me and Doran about that last night when we had a good, clean fight. As look at this, Harry Kane did have a very bad start because of the beach curve that is at this corner. Who's right now attacking Rogue Smithy. Rogue Smithy needs to have a good result here to help out the Williams team and see if they can get closer in the Constructors' Championship behind Mercedes. Right now, he has got Mercedes in front of him, and that's Martin. Let's see if Rogue Smithy can get past Martin here to help out Williams' cause in the Constructors' Championship.
Indeed, the third of the championship, they need the points, no matter how many points you can get, Rogue Smithy, but he's currently in P10, and MDJ's in last place, unfortunately, from the highs in Mexico to the low in here at his home Grand Prix. What a dreadful start for MDJ. He's on the soft compound tyre, going for that short stint, maybe use the hard compound tyre or mediums later on, but DRS has been enabled there, so this will be a big DRS trade, but Harry Kane is looking for ways to get past the Williams driver, defending for one, who made a the other of Rogue Smithies on those medium compound tyres too. So Harry Kane is putting the Canadian driver all sorts under pressure here. He's got way more grip because tyres then. Where can he get past Rogue Smithy? He sees quicker in the corners there. Is that where he's going to pounce? What's Rogue Smithy going to do in terms of defence? Will he be under pressure from that much for Harry Kane? Will he be forced into a mistake, I wonder? But let's see where Harry Kane will choose this moment. Will he go up the inside into turn 8 here? No, he's too far back to do so. Dragon is currently 1 second away from Jagemal, so he needs to get himself back in DRS range as quickly as possible. Otherwise, Samid, Ramavac and Nordis in P8, who's had a great start by the way, considering he had a 5-place grip penalty. Ramavac is all over the back of Samid. Harry Kane's too far back to make a move there on Rogue Smithy, so frustrated behind the Williams driver once again. So Drago again getting a bit detached in the Alpha Tauri there, but he does have the DRS I think on this lap. No, he doesn't. So he actually does not have the DRS there, so he has to be careful not to be overtaken by Samit. But however, at the front, Glock is put to the move on Berimi. He takes P1 away. Around the outside he went, and what a lovely move that was. And what about Samit as well? Is he close enough to make a move? No, he's not. He stays behind for the time being, as Dragon now is officially outside the 1 second range of DRS. Maybe Jagemel's medium's helping him to get away from him. But Laser there, look at him looking feisty in this race. Not had a podium since the 3rd race of the season, and now it could be in contention to get one or a win.
Yeah, if you got the DRS, you have to stay within the 1 second window, but everyone knows that by now in Formula 1. This was introduced in 2012, and it's been a great addition ever since, even though I prefer the old-fashioned slipstreaming back in the 2010, in the 2000s days. Well, even before DRS was invented. But at this moment in time, it's currently the top 3 or the top 5 trying to get away from the pack. It looks like Drago has got himself back together, and now closing in again on Yagamel. Let's see how Berimi will respond to Glock. But right now, I think Laser's looking a bit more closer to Berimi than Berimi's closer to Glock. But I think this is going to be ERS saving here for the top guys. They're all going to be very sensible and saving the ERS till the right moment comes. It's very important to save the ERS. Like I said before, it's an ERS draining track. And let's see how this all plans out. You with Yagamel on the medium tyre. This is going to be interesting because I have done a sim practice on the tyres, and you can take those to around 21 laps, and then you could do 15 laps on the soft tyre, which is sort of playing for a safety car. But if you really look after the tyres well, you can stretch them to around 23 laps to minimise the damage on the soft tyre. Let's see how Yagamel will see how he does on managing his tyres in this early part of the race.
And Dragon there is all Hurricanes. Had a bit of a moment out of turn 10 there. Had a massive snap of oversteer. And now Adams is right behind him too in the McLaren. The Hurricane stays with P11 there. Rogue Smithy doing a great job to keep that Red Bull at bay for the time being. MDJ will be absolutely playing for a safety car around here. All 20 drivers still remain in this race. News on Xenon there. He spun, I think, a few laps ago at turn number 6, I believe that was. Had a bit of a spin of his own, and unfortunately he's down in 19th place there. Is the Ferrari driver. Mackett still in 18th place as Martin there in P9 is defending from Rogue Smithy right behind. Rogue Smithy looking for a clean race after a race ban at the Mexican Grand Prix, like it was last season too, where he had the same race ban. Unfortunately couldn't participate, but did a great job so far in P10, putting Martin under pressure there as Hurricane once again all over the back of that Williams there, not letting the Williams breathe for 1 second, and he's trying to get past, essentially pushing the Williams up the hill there, now coming towards Skyfop as well in the Williams. I don't think I pronounced that right, so I won't be saying it again, but here we are then down into turn 8 and turn 9 we go. They all remain in formation for the time being there as Dragon does get himself back in DRS contention there, so he's putting actually Yagamel under pressure there, and now he's got the DRS. He can relax a bit, try and save a bit of battery if he did use some. However, MDJ has set the fastest lap of the race. Could it be a lonely race at MDJ if a safety car don't come out? He's still in the race, but it all depends now if a safety car does come out or not. This is great news for the like of Glock as well, who could try and reduce the deficit in the championship after losing a few races towards Hurricane and MDJ too. Saudi Arabia is one of them too. He did win back at the Bahrain Grand Prix due to a controversial decision, but however, he needs the points now for this race all the way to the end. No mistakes needed from these guys anymore. They've all got to keep their heads, especially Hurricane as well. MDJ second and third in the championship are those two, or first and second I must say, because Glock is currently third in the championship. But this could be a big advantage for Glock to try and reduce that deficit, because you can see his rivals in P11 or P20. So Glock is licking his lips because he's had a few problems with a few Williams drivers recently in Mexico, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, but he can't steer Williams anymore. It's all down to Red Bull and McLaren right behind him.
I'm going to do a big shout out.
Sorry about that. Adams had a big mistake at turn 7 there. Went off the track, but he stayed on it and luckily did not lose it in the barriers, because usually if you go to the track at that point, you're in the barriers. So great save to McLaren driver, but he has lost DRS now towards Hurricane. He'll be under pressure from Langfeld.
Yeah, I was just about to say big shout out to Sam at the moment. He's been struggling for the past few weeks, but he's in the top 6 in DRS range of the tight guys in front. Here comes Dragon actually. He's got the ERS. He's using his ERS. I think he's going to try and go for a move here on Yagamel. If he's brave enough, he could be later on the break. As you can see, he's going to have a little look, but not at the moment. As bearing me, he's playing a very smart game with Glock here. He doesn't want to drain the battery, and as we can see, what's going on down here, Langfeld's getting overtaken here by Adams. It's going side by side at the moment, kept it clean, and go through it goes as Harry Kane. Right on the outside of Rogue Smithy, trying to get the move done, side by side to go. This is very different time between the two. Now we come towards side by side, really to the left section. Now going to still bank corner right here. Harry Kane gets the inside line and gets past Rogue Smithy. Big move for the Red Bull.
That was great wheel-to-wheel action between Hurricane and Rogue Smithy. Very clean, very tight indeed between those two, not giving an inch. Now, Martin's going to be under pressure for Hurricane because Martin's outside the DRS range of those guys. So let's see if Hurricane then decides to make a move. Can he catch the guys from Nordus? Nordus is doing a great job as well. He's still in the DRS trade. He's currently last of it, as Martin has now been detached from it too. A better race for Martin it seems, because the last two races he has been struggling, but here he is in P9, albeit under pressure from Hurricane and Rogue Smithy right behind too. And Jagerbauer there not really able to move forwards on those medium compound tyres. He's still in P4 there, so he's stuck in that DRS train. I think somebody's making a move further up or pulling the slipstream. Hurricane has gone past Mercedes. What's happened there?
Ramavage braked very, very late and almost hit the back of Saman. Just missed him, but that was very, very close. And the rain has started. There's raindrops falling down. The rain has started. Now we're going to see when the drivers are going to blink.
I did see Dragon ghosted at turn 3 there. Not quite sure what happened to him, whether he made contact or not. But yeah, Ramavage did outbrake himself. And let's see then, the rain has impacted the circuit. How much will this change? Will this race change now? I wonder who's got the grip on those intermediates. Who could stay out there a bit longer in those hard compound tyres, because they won't go on the inters immediately. It has to soak in first before we go on the inters. Otherwise, you'll be overheating your tyres and you'll be taking a lot of grip out of them. So Zenem's in the pit lane already as it's just started to rain. So not a wise call there for Zenem. Trying to go for an undercut, but it's a bit too early to go on the intermediates there. As you can see, they're barely on the pressure.
He went into fresh hard tyres. Zenem pitted for fresh hards.
Quite unusual there for Zenem there on a brand new set of hards. I thought we'd go for a soft compound tyre because it started to rain here, but obviously we don't see any drivers in the pit lane, and they continue circulating on the track once more on these slicks. You can see in the background Samid shaping up a move to go down the inside of Draugen there, but can't quite do it. For the second week in a row, Berimi's up there showing some potential pace and trying to fight for the lead like he did back in Mexico, but this time he didn't get taken out by Hurricane. Glock is struggling just a bit on the rear there at turn 3, but keeping the car on track. It's all about survival before you go on the inters, because the grip will go on these hard compound tyres. So how will you adapt going into this stage of the race? How much speed are you willing to take in the corners here, and how much risk are you willing to take as well? You can see that laser is all over the back of Berimi. He's Glock at turn 7. He's going deep as Glock. Carried a bit too much speed. The rear end started to slide on that Mercedes there, so a few people start to feel the effects of the wet weather starting to come in. So Glock's to be very careful there not to lose that place, because that's a very crucial point in this race now. You've got to survive until you go on the inters.
Yeah, it's all about throttle inputs now, for steering inputs. Very smooth inputs on the throttle and steering, and also brakes as well. Every single part of your body is now focused on how you drive the car now, because now the track is starting to wetten. Who blinks first? It's all going to be on the right tyre at the right time. Quoting Martin Brundle, but here comes Ramavage down the other side of Saman. This is a move for 6th place. Ramavage gets into the line, but look at Saman with the drive coming out turn 1. He defends the position really well.
A good indicator to come into the pit lane on the inters is when you start to see puddles on the track, and we're getting almost there now, halfway point between the inters and the hards. I think the inters give it one more lap, or this lap, it could be seeing drivers heading off into the pit lane, a mad dash in the pit lane to put on the inters. Now, who's going to have to double stack here? Will some drivers have to sacrifice, go out there for one more lap extra to avoid the double stack, or is the double stack quicker? Because obviously if you inters between drivers can lose about 4 or 5 seconds. You can see some drivers there sliding through the corners. You can be very careful on this particular part of the track here, especially the fast right-handers. Ramavage once again oversteers at turn 10 there, but all these drivers they're trying to survive. Baby's almost spun. Oh, that was so close there, but Laser has taken the opportunity to go up the inside and take P2 away. Baby just lost his rear brakes there. Unfortunately, lost the place as Martin is under pressure for Hurricane. In fact, Hurricane's lost the place towards Martin, and now Rogue Smithy starts to put pressure where the Hurricane outbraked himself, tried to attack Martin, but I think you might see the drivers in the pit lane.
Draugen's in the pits, first one to blink, and brakes really well there. I think this Draugen has picked the right time here to pit, because right now all the drivers are going to be struggling for grip, because the spray's coming up, the puddles have developed. This could be huge right now for Draugen. If he gets a good outlap here and really blitz those inters up to their temperature it only needs to grip, because the position changes here. But let's see how fast Draugen can get around the circuit before the top block can start to pit.
I agree. So the gap is 21.5. The gap is going down immediately after coming out of the pit lane. So yeah, Draugen has made the right call. I thought it was the right call, because look at the track. It's treacherous. It's time for the intermediates now. You can see the puddles start to develop on the track. It's no longer useful for the slicks. And already Draugen, the gap's gone to 20.9. Maybe Rogue Smithy can get involved in this action too, because they're gaining rapidly on these guys that have stayed out there on the hard compound tyres. So let's see how much of an effect of Draugen staying out there has worked for him. That one lap
Oh, they're all
undercut could be very
struggling.
powerful. Yeah, one lap undercut could be very powerful for them.
Yeah, I'm about to say, Rogue Smithy, I think he's put himself into this fight now. He's only 5 seconds behind Dragon. All these drivers are pitting in now. Let's see how they all get on. Don't forget, 5-second penalties are a factor here. Let's see if they don't all constitute each other. When they don't, so Dragon is just about to come around the final corner. Martin's got himself a 5-second penalty. Where is Dragon? Down the main straight. Is he actually going to take the lead and overtake Glock, I wonder?
I think he is, you know, but it's going to be very close to the pit lane exit. Let's see then who gets out ahead of
There's
who.
Glock!
There he is. When he gets out ahead of him, it's going to be very nip and tuck on the exit, but I think Dragon's got him. Yes, he has. He's just got him. What a great undercut there from Dragon to
Hurricane
take.
stayed out. Hurricane stayed out on 12 lap all hard. This is going to cost him dearly.
It has indeed. That's a very weird decision, albeit though, could he have tried to avoid the double stack from his own teammate who's just pitted there in the other Red Bull? But Hurricane there might have cost himself and shot himself in the foot. But what a powerful undercut from Dragon. He was at the back of this DRS train, catapulted up to P2. That's played beautifully in the effects of him. But if a safety car does come out, it could have a Hurricane there. But with Ferrari has spun. Not quite sure. I think it's Zeno again, unfortunately for him. He has been struggling around here in the dry or the wet. So it's been another difficult race there from the Ferrari. But you've got to pay respect for him because he continues no matter what. You don't see him retire in the pit lane. So you've got to have massive respect there for Zeno for continuing, because I would have given up by now, knowing me. But Zeno there, keeping his head, keeping composed, and just trying it. But bearing in mind that you do score points no matter what position you're in. So might as well continue out there.
Yeah, exactly. But like I said before, what a powerful undercut that is. Now, is DRS still a threat though? Which I don't think it is. So now it's all down to pure blood slipstream. Now it's down to pure blood power, pure blood drivability. This is now the time to see who's got better driving conditions in the wet. Dragon is put an absolute blinder of a move to get himself into P1. We all said that win is coming for Dragon. Let's see if it happens today.
You know what, I thought Dragon would be fully ahead of Glock, but Glock is still there, by the way, in P2. I think this is Glock's to win, you know. He's been on the pace ever since qualifying and this race too, but Dragon, how much will it be under pressure from Glock right behind there? Ramavaj too, putting pressure on Jagerbel. So it was a big DRS trade, but ever since the pit stops start happening, that's when it all split up, and now we've got our own separate fights with the Rebel Hurricane who spun. That's very crucial to the championship because it's P2. Do you know what? Glock will get a massive haul of points if he does stay on the track.
Oh, careful, Glock. You're almost in the back. He's hitting the back of Dragon. Be patient, Glock. You will get him. If you get a good drive out of these front two corners, you can get the lead. But you need to be very patient. You don't want to be getting yourself into another incident that you're not going to occur.
Yeah, exactly, indeed, because now we can see his championship rivals are down in last place, 18th and 19th, and Glock will make a move into 1. He's late to the brakes, he makes it stick, he's up into P1 again. So yeah, like you said, he has to be patient, couldn't afford to make any silly moves, because this is going to gain him a whole bunch of points, and this will help him bring it back in the championship between himself and MTJ and Hurricane there, who are close. So only 5 points to see them. Oh, yeah, he has retired in the pit lane, unfortunately. Maybe he was a lap down and struggling too, but nevertheless he continued out there for a few more laps, but he has retired in the pits and called it a day. Hurricane is in the pit lane. I'm not quite sure if he broke his wing. He did indeed, he broke his wing.
This is good. The championship is going to be turning way on its head going towards the end of this race. It's going to be so intriguing to see how it's all going to play out. But who would have thought this? The rain is going to play a massive factor. Dragon's in a position to be having a fantastic result. Here goes Rogue Smithy run around the outside or the inside of all this and gets the position. Rogue Smithy into P8 now. Around 2 seconds now behind Samad. Rogue Smithy is going to do his absolute best for Williams to score himself a good heap of points to come towards the end of this race. And look at Berini. He's not out of it as well in P3. He wants to put a good show on today for Red Bull.
Indeed he is as well, after a disappointing race back in Mexico. And look behind us, we've got Ramavaj versus Jagerbel. Jagerbel wasn't the medium compound tyres, I'm surprised. Nobody went on the so-called powered tyres. Maybe they expected the rain to come later in the race, not now or a few laps later. But here we are then at the stage of the Grand Prix. The wet conditions have came in. It's supposed to get drier towards the end of the race too, so could that have a major turnaround effect in this race too? But Dragon now is outside of Slipstream range as Glock has pulled away. So Glock has got some pure speed around here, and he's doing a mighty job as a Mercedes driver. However, first and second in the championship are fighting over P18 and P19. That's how much they struggled in this race and made contact too. Jagermal's left the session, unfortunately. And here is Harry Kane versus MDJ, the top two in the championship, fighting for last place. And here we are then. Here we are, Harry Kane's right behind him. Let's see what happens going down into turn one. Obviously, they score points no matter what positions you're in. So you can see that Harry Kane's close to his championship rival on the track. He actually taps the back of him too for good measure out of turn one. But MDJ stays ahead of him for the time being, and he's in 18th place. But albeit though, Harry Kane is on fresher intermediate, so he should get past him quite quickly.
So right now, Berimi now down the inside of Traugen and gets the position away from the AlphaTauri man, so that his position gained for Berimi. 1.1 behind Glock. Glock is really pulling away in the murk. He's doing a fantastic job at the moment. He's so composed in the wettest moment of time as the gaps are beginning to develop. So let's see how good Berimi is on catching down Glock in some sort of clean air. Let's see how Berimi will do. If I was him right now, follow Glock's lines. Follow how he does, and then you get a somewhat advantage, copying his line. Another one of the wet conditions why it's the tyre marks that's developing on the track. You can actually follow them and use them as a guideline to actually how you perform on the circuit. Maybe they use that to the advantage. Rogue Smith gets past and aiding Yalgamel, who's not joined back in the session just yet. So Rogue Smithy up into P7 now in the Williams.
Yes, indeed, it's a great drive from Rogue Smithy to lead Williams in this race, scoring major points, although he's got notice right behind too. Hopefully Jagermal can get back in the session, but Glock then 1.1 is the gap between himself and Berimi. They split up after the race started to come in after the pit stops too, because they were both in DRS range of each other, but then the pit stops started happening, and here we are once again. They're back together as Harry Kane and MDJ once again going wheel to wheel. MDJ has been overtaken by Harry Kane trying to go up the inside of turn 7, but couldn't quite make it stick, and Jagermal is into P10, but hopefully that's the last he loses positions, because he should be back in the session right now. Dragon.
He is. He's driving again now. He's almost there. He's about to get into his car. Let's see if he can get it. Is he in? I don't think he is just yet. So try and keep an eye on that.
Timing boards have updated. I think Jagermal is. Yes, he is. He's back in the car, thankfully.
Yeah, good on him. He's back in the race.
Yeah, he's lost about 6 positions there. Jagermal from P4 to P10 now. But hopefully has the pace to catch back up. We're halfway there in this race. No virtuals or no safety cars, even in the wet conditions. All these drivers once again doing a fantastic job. No safety cars or virtuals back at the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix too. So what a fantastic job these guys are doing to keep it nice and clean. Respect to all of them out there.
Yeah, that's so true. Noldis, after very shocking, very instant field qualifying for him, he's now just coming towards Rogue Smithy's car. Let's see if Rogue Smithy can get away and see if he can catch up to Sama. But Sama's doing a fantastic job though in P6, holding on to that position. He's actually sort of getting away from Rogue Smithy slightly, but Smithy wants to try and close down to Sama as close as he can so he can get a position gained. As Martin is under pressure for Jagermal, who's back in his car and re-overtakes him. Jagermal back up into P9.
Indeed he is then, Jagermal. Next car is ahead is Noldus, 2.5 seconds away is Noldus putting pressure there on Rogue Smithy. And let's have a look at the gained and most lost. So Dragon's gained 4 from P7 to P3. Great job from him. That undercut has really helped him, and now he could be on course for a podium. Bearing in mind though, Laser has gained a lot of time on Dragon. The gap is about 8 tenths now between the two. It was about over 2 seconds a few laps before, but Laser started to find some pace in the wet conditions, and Dragon there could see his podium under threat from Laser. Laser is going for his first podium since the 3rd race of the season, because he's had 3 podiums in a row. After that it stopped, but he could find himself back at the podium and we could be interviewing once more again. Maybe Dragon too. Dragon's had a few podiums this season, and Bearimi's had a few podiums this season too. But Glock looking very comfortable out there. A stress-free race after the last few races, blaming Williams of their antics, tactics, and all that. He's done a fantastic job for once this season. Not had a Williams to fight with, and he's had it all his own way this race and done a fantastic job to keep it nice and composed. 16 laps left to go. Still, anything could happen with safety cars, with the weather changing, etc. It can be quite difficult to drive around here in the rain, especially the high-speed corners on all the inter tyres. But we'll see what happens here with 16 laps left to go. Laser is right at the back of Dragon then. So the battle of P3 is not over. Can Laser get his first podium since the third race at the Hungarian Grand Prix? That race where he was trying to hunt Ramovaj down for the victory of fresher tyres, but the safety car came out and they all went to the pit lane to put the set of soft compound tyres. So here he is. Laser is right behind Dragon. Also, Ramovaj has had a few podiums this season. He's had 4 podiums this season, and his latest one, I think, was back at the Mexican Grand Prix after Dragon picked up a penalty due to corner cutting. Here he is. You can see Ramovaj getting a lot of time at that corner alone at turn 10. He's right at the back of Laser, so Ramovaj could also find himself back in the podium again.
Yeah, Dragon had a really good corner exit coming out of the hairpin turn there. Now Ramovaj is now all over the back of Laser. Laser's not having his own way with the season after what is his podium in the third race. So right now it's all challenging for Laser, who is a former world champion as well. Bearimi is trying to get close to Glocks and it's just hovering over a second. Ramovaj is very close to Laser, really pushing that McLaren towards turn 4. Let's see what line these drivers are going to make. Out of turn 4, Ramovaj takes a different line there to Laser. That doesn't work usually, and it hasn't. So Laser gains a little bit of time there, Ramovaj, and now he's going to try and hunt down Dragon again. So this P3 fight is going to turn into a very interesting battle indeed.
Laser's got a wide. Laser's got a wide. Oh my goodness, indeed.
What fair play to Ramovaj there.
Ramovaj thought he could take advantage, but Laser shut the door immediately, and that's how Dragon pull away now, and now these two will be fighting. So it looks like Laser was putting pressure on Dragon, but now Ramovaj is putting pressure on Laser. So it looks like Dragon's been released there, and now Ramovaj is the one hunting Laser down. So Laser could maybe under pressure there, started to struggle a bit, making a few mistakes there, and it's going to really cost him now in these low speed corners. You can see that Dragon gets much better exits than the McLaren driver. Actually, Laser's lost a lot of time now. The gap is 1.5, and Ramovaj is on his tail then as we make our way out of the final corner.
Samad involved as well. It's going to put Samad involved as well in the Alpine.
Ramovaj takes P4 away from Laser, and Laser there looks like he was trying to hunt down Dragon for a podium. Now finds himself in 5th place, and Ramovaj, if he does have the pace in the Alfa Romeo, can now try and catch the Alpha Tauri for another P3 once again.
So Samad now is under a second with Laser now. He's now involved in this fight now. Let's see how fast Ramovaj can get close to Dragon, who's 4.1 behind Bearimi. He's not loving the conditions at the moment, because right now Bearimi is underneath a second of Glock. So right now it's fight on for P1. Glock is not going his own way. He's got a Red Bull right behind Mercedes versus Red Bull once again. Can't wait to see how this all plans out.
So Bearimi does have the pace to keep a contention of Glock. Bearimi, ever since he overtaken Dragon, was the key point, because Dragon looks like he started to lose the pace, whether that's his own pace or the tyres being 1 lap difference, I'm not quite sure. But now the battle for P1 is continuing. Glock's had a few fights with the Red Bull before. It's been mostly Hurricane, but Bearimi's on the horizon. Glock has made a mistake out of the penultimate corner there. Back in the car, just tail happy, a bit traction loss as well for him, and Bearimi's right on his tail there as we head down into turn 1, but obviously no DRS, all down to pure power and battery power as well. So let's see who has the advantage on who. Glock should have the advantage as long as you get a decent exit on the final corner. Use the ERS because you can hold gyros up in the mid-speed, high-speed corners due to the wets as well. And also, Bearimi out of turn 3, really struggling there out of that corner as Adams has overtaken Martin, puts himself up into P10 there, and actually Martin gets past him as Adams went wide out of turn 1.
Yeah, a little bit out of shade there from from Aiden's there, not doing the job he wants. Mackett on the back as well on Langfell. He's trying to get past the Alfa Romeo driver. But Bear Reeby doing a stunning job for Red Bull at the moment with his teammate all the way down in P18. Bear Reeby's really helping out the Red Bull team in the Constructors' Championship to keep away from Mercedes. But this is all about Bear Reeby, see if he can get past Glock, as Mackett is giving Langfell a hell of a time in sector 2, trying to get past the Alfa Romeo to get himself up into P14. Doesn't look like at the moment. He's going to put the pressure on. Smoke is also on the back of Lord Danny Boy as well. Lord Danny Boy goes a little bit wide there on the exit of the corner. Smoke is going to try and give him some more pressure. Yagamel and Noldus. Yagamel gets past Noldus. Another position gain there for Yagamel. So position's starting to change now here.
Actually, Dragon's gained about 7 tenths. The gap was 4.1, now it's 3.3. So as Dragon found some pace, that AlphaTauri, can he catch the top 2? We'll find out later, but we could see the raid easing off in a few laps' time because it's supposed to go back to dry, whether that does happen or not. But the battle for P1 between Glock and Bearimy still continues. Red Bull versus Mercedes around here at Zandvoort. We saw it back. Oh, Bearimy's made a mistake at turn 7 there. I'm not quite sure if he went a bit too wide or lost the rear end. But however, once again, let's have a look at that.
Mackett, Langfeld just gone past Mackett in a very good fashion, but look at Mackett trying to get... Oh, contact! Oh, that's a big accident! Is that going to produce a safety car, I wonder?
How on earth did neither of them lose a wheel? I'm not quite sure. There's a massive impact in the wall. They both went to the wall together. One of them should have lost a wheel, or both of them, but thankfully didn't, and no safety car will be deployed. But Mackett does have a broken left end plate. I just saw the aftermath of that crash on board with the Alpine and Mackett there, but back to the battle between P1 and P2. In the first sector, Bearimy was struggling for traction there. The back end of the car continuously stepping out there. Let's give a bit more breathing space towards Glock, who could start to pull away and not relax, but just have a distant gap over Bearimy. Here he is then in the Alpine, right behind Laser. Laser started to lose a bit of pace. Everything's been overtaken by Ramovaj, and now Samid is all over the back of that McLaren driver, but not able to make a move. You can see the ERS deployment on the steering wheel of the Alpine. Adams once again fighting with Martin. Martin does not want to finish in P11, but he does have a 3-second time penalty, and he's the only driver who's picked up a penalty so far in this race. I was expecting a few more to pick up a penalty, but they've all been consistent with no penalties. Might jinx that a bit later on, who knows. But at last has overtaken Langfeld. Oh, he's got a bit wide in turn 1, and the Alfa Romeo comes back through. But Laser versus Samid, then Samid's got past in an unusual place, it must be said.
I think Laser might have made a mistake there and let Samad pass, but this is one of Samad's strongest races here. It's not usually up in this position, but this is one of his strongest races here for an Alpine in the Alpine. This has turned into a very good race here for Samad.
It has indeed. Mackett is in the pit lane to change his front wing. Hurricane and MDJ will be hoping that'll be a safety car, but they can't do this about it, unfortunately. That's going to be their worst race of the season, both of them as well. Down at P17 and P18, this is going to benefit Glock. It could catapult him up the championship order, maybe in first place if I do the mathematics right, but I don't know. But anyways, Glock is looking fine form ever since the word go. Lights out in turn 1. These two had a great battle in the first sector. Glock just got ahead of Bearimy, and he kept her at bay since then. And he's done a wonderful job so far. 10 more laps to go in this race. The battle's not over for P1 just yet. Glock could make a mistake. Bearimy could get closer, find some pace, because ever since Bearimy has been in the turbulent air of that Mercedes in sector 1 or 2, he's been really struggling to keep it on the track. He keeps gaining and he keeps making mistakes. So Bearimy, what's he got to do to try and overtake Glock? It's so difficult to overtake in the rain around here, or any circuit as well, in the high-speed corners, because you just lose downforce as well. You're not able to get close. You don't have the DRS to power past the driver either. And looks like Bearimy starts to lose a bit more pace and more time towards Glock. It's got up to 2 seconds now between the top two, and Glock there might have a bit more answer as well in that Mercedes. Might have a bit more pace to respond with, although he's gone a bit wide in that chicane there. Might get a bit more time towards Bearimy, but it's been a great race so far. 10 more laps to go. We never know if the safety car could come out. Looks like the battle of P3 has settled down just a bit. The gap's been
the closest fight on the closest fight at the moment is in the midfield with Martin and Adams and Smoke and Lord Danny Boy. Those are the two closest fights at the moment.
keep an eye on that close battle then between those guys in P9, P10, P11 there. Nola's had a quiet race so far, other than his messy qualifying session where he's been involved in about 2 or 3 incidents in qualifying, but in the race, clean. Shout out to Rogue Smithy, driving his own race 2 in PS7. Langfell's had a problem. What's happened to him at the chicane? He's gone for a spin. I think he just went for a spin there. No further damage done into the Alfa Romeo.
As Harry Kane makes up another position into P16, now he goes.
And the rain has stopped too. It's lap 27 out of 36.
It's
a bit too early. It's a bit too early to go on the dries, I think. Maybe 1 or 2 laps. But AlphaTauri, is that Jargon? Jargon spun. He's lost the podium. He's down to P6, unfortunately.
No! Oh, he beat shit on the curve. In my opinion, I think he beat shit on the curb. That's the beach corner, I call it. And now he's in P6. He's lost the podium. Well, he might have lost it, but look at this. Alascopo, Langfell, they're both on soft tyres. They called it too early. That's a cost of time. But now, what's time going to be like? When this track is going to dry out, we do not know. But this right now, all about timing. When are these drivers going to come to the pits for tyres? Do not know. But this is going to be a massive turning point at any part of the field.
Well, looked like a comfortable podium for the time being for Jargon. Now the rain has stopped, that's when he made a mistake, and unfortunately he's down into P6. He got a massive oversteer too. Out of turn 1, Rogue Smithy would be all over the back of him. Jargon would probably be driving very angrily in that car there, hence why he started to make a few mistakes, because Rogue Smithy is right behind. Maybe his tyres could be overheated too after that spin down at turn 7 and turn 8 there. But what a shame for Jargon. But Ramovac again finds himself on the podium. He always finds a way to get the podium ever since he races.
And Samad is also up into P4. So right now, Samad, driving a very sensible race at the moment, he's loving these wet conditions at the moment. Martin, I look at Smoke now. Smoke on the back of Lord Danny Boy, getting closer, but not finding the move he needs to get past the Ferrari car. As the Haas is trying to get past the Ferrari now. He's going to wait out a little bit longer. How long did this track dry out? It's going to be probably about 3 laps max, 3 to 4 laps maximum. As we've got a spinner. That's Alascopo go for a spin. He's about to get lapped by Glock.
DJ and Harry Kane, every time they see a yellow flag, they'll be begging that the safety car would come or something like that to rescue their race. But it's not come yet. We've still got 7 laps in this race, and the dry tyres will be introduced once again, preferably the soft compound tyres, because they can easily go towards the end of the Grand Prix. And Sonic Hawk's out! It's our safety car! It's a safety car, ladies and gentlemen!
MDJ, and what's his name? Harry Kane is back in the race. They've been begging for a safety car, and Sonic Hawk has provided.
Hashtag blessed for him, for those two. And now Sonic Hawk has caused something in this race now. We could see some drama in the last few laps of this race. Now the soft compound tyres, everybody should be pitting. The inters are no longer required in this race, and this should be a showdown race with 6 laps or 5 laps left to go, depending when it comes in. So Sonic Hawk there has caused a safety car, blessed to some, but others didn't want it because they had such a comfortable gap and buffer over the rest. But now all the pack we've brought together, and we'll find out what happens, because it was a messy Mexican Grand Prix when the safety car came out. Will we see the repeat again here in Zandvoort? However, I will go to the toilet again.
Yeah, you carry on, my friend. I'll keep an eye on the field. Glock is going to be coming in for the pits. All of this is going to be dry tyres. Dry tyres for all, surely. Glock in. And look at this. I'm just like an AlphaTauri. That's Alascopo going past that, lapping himself. So Ramovage in, and we've got soft tyres for Glock, Remy softs, Ramovage coming in as well. The Red Bull just pops out from it. Samad is going to be on to the softs as well. Everyone's going to be on for soft tyres. Smithy, 5-second penalty for speaking in the pit lane. Noldis gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. He's been exceeding the challenge a little bit too much. So Rogue Smithy's cost himself a few points there at the championship. As he's trying to rush out of the pits we go, just gets ahead of Yagamel in P8 there, so Smithy P7 at this moment in time. Glock is going to catch up to the leader. Smoker's got ahead of Martin for the time being, as Martin will probably come back at him. No, it's because Martin had to take a 5-second time penalty, so Smoke is jumped Martin in the pits there, so good work there from him. Saman now, what's he thinking about this sort of position? He's never been this high in for a long while, so Mr. Sam has chance to get a super good result, but he needs to keep it very consistent and very tidy so he can get himself a very good fair result. Laser wants to be back in the podium fight. Draugen the same after a very costly error. So right now, all these drivers at this moment in time will want to get themselves into a very good position. How is MDJ going to respond? How is Harry Kane going to respond now? Now the safety car has come out. What's this? MDJ has come someone to this fresh pair of Inters. I don't think that's a very good idea for the Williams driver at all. Not by a long shot. As he's struggling for grip on the outside, I think MDJ's cost himself this race. Harry Kane's on softs, everyone else is on softs.
What's happened to MDJ, mate?
He's on intermediate tyres. He's decided to go into another fresh set of Inters.
I don't think that's the right call, you know, because the spray is getting less and less, and the soft compound tyres are the tyres to be on. So I don't know if that's inexperience for MDJ, but I've been in a lot of races before where this type of scenario has happened, and the soft compound tyres will be better.
It's also got Rogue Smithy. He got a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and Nolders is pitted a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits.
Oh dear, but he's been overtaken by Jagmal, so those two had a scrap. So we've got a few penalties under a safety car, which is quite unusual. And Martin's got rid of his penalty, so he must have had a 5-second time penalty somewhere.
Nolders has stopped. Nolders has stopped on track. Well, I don't know what's going on here. Nolders, he's let Aiden's through. Now he's back past. Nolders is, I think he's reading his delta, because his delta is saying, oh dear, he's got to let Aiden's back through again. Because he stopped on track too long. What's going on up here? Laser and... Oh no, he's not having the time of his life out there, isn't he?
Well, he's done a great job in this race, being in the top 8, but now, ever since he picked up a penalty, I don't know what's going on here between those top guys. So I'm just trying to keep an eye out if something happens the way Savage driver, but Nolders there shot himself in the foot with that penalty right there. Is it a 5-second? It's a 3-second. Rogue Smithy picked up a 5-second. So
yeah, Smithy picked up the 5-second. Yeah.
I'm intrigued to know where Martin got his penalty there, because it must have been a pit lane penalty or something like that.
Yeah, it was. I remember Martin on the first round of stops. He picked up a 5-second time penalty. Yeah.
I did. So that he benefited from that then. So even though he's lost a few places, he hasn't lost too much time. Because, well, look at this. Is that McLaren? That's Adrians who's gone off the track. And now Norris is back through. Do you know what? I think that's a tactical move, because if someone goes off the track, you're allowed to overtake them, and it won't give you a penalty because obviously the guy's got off the track. So I think that's a tactical way to give the place back. But in the pit lane is Jagamal. Wow, what's he going to do then?
What's Jagamal doing then? So this is going into the pits. It's can't be a front wing, surely.
It
can't be Inters.
It is a front wing.
It's the front wing. The first. Oh, he's had a bump with someone then. That's a Red Bull code. That's Harry Kane. Harry Kane's coming in for Inters. So MDJ and Harry Kane have gone into Inters.
But the track's drying out. I don't know. Is it the crossover between the Inters and softs? Is the track dried out very slowly? Who knows? There's still some spray, but the soft compound tyres could be in play on lap 34 or something. The track is definitely drying, as you can see. Less and less spray on the circuit, but there's still a bit of spray which might benefit the Inters. But towards the last lap of the Grand Prix, lap 35, lap 36, it could swing towards the soft runner's way. But we'll see how quick the track dries in the last few laps of the Grand Prix. This could be very chaotic, you know, because the soft compound tyres might not have the grip just yet. They could be sliding all over the place on those soft compound tyres once we get going again, because they don't know how the track feels in those softs, because the safety car has came out, so they have no idea how the track's like.
And we're about to find out any moment. So safety cars come in. So Harry Kane MDJ has got to hope and pray this track is going to stay wet for a little bit more longer, so they can make positions. Because these drivers will be sliding around, they will be quite slow going towards the first part of the safety car restart. So they can try and make the positions all they can to see if they can make the positions gain. Right now, with about 4 to 5 laps to go, anyone can win this race. And I mean anyone. Well, apart from Smithy and Oldest, but apart from them two, anyone can win this race. And I mean anyone.
We're about to find out what happens then as Glock goes very slowly. He doesn't want to give a slipstream towards Bearimi, so we'll go right now. And that's an excellent restart there as he goes right and left to try and warm up the tyres as we head down into turn 1. What's going to happen? Is the braking zone? Are the soft compound tyres good enough? Will they have the grip into these slow speed corners? MDJ and Hurricane, the two interrunners, are going wheel to wheel. In fact, Hurricane, MDJ was overtaken. And we've got some more action here. Hurricane's got through at last 2. So it looks like the Inters are still good at this stage because those two are still fighting.
Martin gives MDJ a little bit of a shove, and here comes, oh, careful, Harry Kane, you don't want to be tagging him right now, because you don't want to lose position, MDJ, and look at this, and that is MDJ going past Martin, Harry Kane trying to follow through, he's getting blocked now by smoke now, and this is all chaotic now, the Inter runners are making progress.
It looks like the Inters are still better there than the soft compound tyres, so MDJ and Hurricane could have made the right call, but MDJ is all over the back of smoke. You've got to be very careful in these corners because you might carry more speed than others and might make contact, but he gets a good release out of turn 10 as we head down into 11, switches to the inside line. Will he be late to the race? No, because the Haas is late on the brakes, but he makes contact and he's almost spun the car around, but saves it in smoke. He tried to protect himself against MDJ, but ended up spinning out due to rear locking the brakes, and now MDJ is up into P11. Those Inters are still holding on there. Next target is Lord Danny Boy for P10. These points are very crucial for MDJ, so he wants to make as many places as he can. Jargon is right behind Sammy. Will he make a move into turn 1? He's a bit too far back, but keep an eye on MDJ as we head into 1-4. Oh, I was so close there for contact. But will MDJ get a better exit than the Ferrari driver on those Inters? Yes, he will. Then pulls alongside the Ferrari. Into turn 2 we go. Lord Danny Boy still around the outside, has the inside line. But will MDJ have better traction on those Inters? Yes, he will. He puts himself up into P10 ahead of Lord Danny Boy. Next target is Adams there. Hurricanes follow through too immediately, which is very crucial to keep up with MDJ, because remember, these two are still championship rivals, so they've still got a fight in their hands.
We're about a couple of laps from the end now, so it's all about damage limitation for these two. We've got a car off the track. That's Noldis. That's another position gain for the two championship contenders. Now they're on the back of Adams now for P8. So right now these two are absolutely flying. I think they have made the right call here. I don't think the track's going to dry out anytime soon. So MDJ and Harry Kane are now both in the top 10. This is brilliant combat driving here from the both of them. Driver of the day, I don't know you're going to call this. Can you have both of them as driver of the day, I wonder? I wish that could be the case, because them two have been brilliant. DRS is enabled. DRS is now enabled.
It might have been the crossover point between the Inters and the Dries, so I think the Dries could be slightly better, who knows, but we're now with 2 laps left to go. Will MDJ and Harry Kane start to struggle? Will they lose the places they taken when the safety car came in? Who knows, but MDJ is still at the back of Adams there, so the Inters could be at the crossover point between the Inters and the Sauce. But bear in mind though, Adams had a good release at that corner, and look at Samit then, he's putting pressure on Laser. He's all over the back of Laser there for P4. Ramavaj is left alone in P3, so it looks like he's going to score another podium. The battle for P4 continues. DRS is enabled and will be on the last lap too, so I can't wait to see. Glock has got this in the bag. He's got it from lap 1 all the way to the end now, so nobody off the inside goes Rogue Smithy, but Jargon closes the door there, and Rogue Smithy has to take a body action. Unfortunately, both make contact, and he stays in P7 for the time being.
Inters has lost performance, and now pulling away now. The crossover has happened, like you said.
Yeah, so the Inters were only good for 1 or 2 laps, and now the Softs are coming into play for the final lap of this Grand Prix. Glock will lead them away, and he should comfortably win, unless he picks up a 3-second time penalty. But the battle for P4 still continues because Samit is right behind him, and now he overtakes him. He goes up into P4. What about Dragon? Will he follow through? Unlucky there for Dragon to miss out the podium after that spin when the rain ended. Hurricane versus... Oh, MDJ spun! He spun out of turn 1. And that's him falling all the way down the field. I think he might have tagged again, unfortunately. So it looks like Harry Kane could take the championship lead away from MDJ. What a dismal race. It looks like he was coming from hero to zero after that safety car call on the Inters. But now he's dropped all the way to the back of the field in P18. And that's his race essentially over for him. But now Glock has got to survive in the last set or so. The track is still slippery around here in Zandvoort, but should be no problem for these guys now, and the battles are over for the time being. I think they're all going to settle into where they are right now. So what a drive from Glock in P1, untroubled ever since that safety car restart. He's driven a beautiful race, and this time he had no Williams to complain about like he did in the last few races. It's been a fantastic race from lap 1 all the way to the end for Glock. You can see the checkered flag coming in a few laps time, in a few corners time. He's heading around the final corner now, and you can see the checkered flag there. Glock will come across the line to win his second race of the season. Bury me in P2, Ramovaj in P3, but what about this?
Dragon? Oh, Dragon was close there.
It just missed out, Dragon. But Adams, what a great drive again. Ever since Adams joined as a reserve, he's always driven a beautiful race as Adams, been the underdog in a few races. So, once again, done a fantastic job as the McLaren driver.
Can we have a big massive shout out for Sandman? One of his best results of the season as well in the Alpine. He'll take great motivation of that going into Brazil.
It will indeed, and this is what Glock needed, you know, because he's been unlucky in the last few races. He's been hot-headed. He's had a few moments in the chat, but finally you could see he's got pace. We all know he's got pace, but it's just been a tough few races for him, and he definitely deserves this Grand Prix. We know he's got the pace, but in terms of being a bit hot-headed, reminds me of Max Verstappen actually. When he gets it right, he gets it right, and there it is. That's an example of today. Berimi, what a great drive. Although he was on pole, still a great battle there. It is difficult to overtake in the wet conditions. Ramovaj is in P3 for PA again. What a great race from him. Salmon in P4 ahead of Laser. Dragon 6th place. Adams 7th. Carrie Kane in 8th. He might take the championship lead away from MDJ. Yagamal 9th ahead of Rogue Smith. He scored in 10th place. Lord Daddy Boy 11th. Martin 12th. Smokey 13th. Nordis 14th place ahead of Mackie Langfall 16th. MDJ 17th, Atlas in 18th, Sonic Hawk and Xenom are the two that retired in the Grand Prix then. So what a phenomenal race this has been.
Yeah, brilliant. Strong race all around, brilliant. Glock, Redemption, got into after the few races. Rest of Redemption race there for Glock, brilliant. See if the other drivers can join in now for their interviews.
I don't think Glock has a mic, if I always remember correctly, but hopefully Berimi and Ramovaj could join. I actually can't find Berimi's tag, so I might have a different Discord tag to his PSN. I'm not quite sure. OWR Berimi. There he is, found his tag.
Brilliant.
I don't know if you guys know about this, but I've received a lot of messages in this race asking to do this invitation for Shine, whatever it's called. So just avoid it if you can, because it is a big scam. But yeah, a lot of people have been sharing this thing recently. So just for those who are aware about that, just try not to click it if you can. It is going around for the time being. I've had a lot of messages during this race about it too. Just for a heads up.
Big shout out there.
So there's Berimi.
Yes.
Waiting for Ramovaj. I don't think Glock has a mic. Although I will message Glock asking him how. There he is. I'm messaging Glock right now so he can give his answer in the text while we interview the other two. We'll start with Ramovaj then. So Ramovaj, always find a way on the podium, don't you? Started in P8. I think this is your 5th podium of the season, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it is your 5th podium of the season. How do you manage to find your way in the podiums, mate? Because every time you join in, you always have decent results, barring sadly maybe a Grand Prix. We all know what happened there. But talk us through your race.
Yeah, well, thank you. It was, pace was not really there in qualifying. I think we managed to do my fastest lap on my first try, and it was really just damage limitation from on there. First stint when it was still dry on the hards, it was alright. I managed to keep up with the guys in front, and then we switched on to inters. The pace just came on, just came alive. I don't know how. It was really good. It felt great, except for the final sector, because I lowered the wings at the beginning of the race because I thought it was going to be a lot more dry running. But yeah, pace was really good in the wet, not so much in the dry, but luckily I managed to get up to the podium again.
Yeah, indeed. And when Dragon pitted behind you, did you think it was a bit too late for you guys to stay out there on the hardcore power tires? Did you think that you stayed out there one lap too late on those hards?
Yes, definitely. But it was really hard to tell because once we got past the pit straight, the spray started to come on in the game. So that's when I knew that, yeah, I think we maybe should have pitted a lap earlier.
And also people had to double stack as well during that pit stop. And when you overtook later, did you think that it was a massive chance for you to get the podium today?
Yes, but then I think I was faster than him in the wet, but not on dry tires. So I thought we were gonna stay out. Had it not been a safety car, we would have stayed out on the Inters. I think, and I think I would have gone laser, but Jargon was really quick, really quick. So he made an unfortunate error. I don't know if it was on the stream or not, but he spun into the double right-hander in the middle of the track.
Yeah, we saw it, mate. And that ever since he spun, you took advantage of that. And after the safety car as well, you had a good distance behind to keep the podium as well in P3. So, are you racing next race, mate?
Yeah, I'm planning on racing. I don't know which track is it, but
Brazil.
Brazil. Oh, that's lovely. I like Brazil. I'm not fast, but I like Brazil.
Well, ever since you drive, you've always been quick. Imagine if you turn up in the last few races as well, because you missed about 5 races this season. So you are currently P9 in the championship. Obviously, with that podium, you might catapult up to P7, maybe ahead of Martin or close to Dragon. So yeah, I'll give the questions to you, Oliver.
Yeah, I'm about to say, how do you always find a way to get yourself onto the podium? You're always lurking around, only waiting for some incident or any opportunity arise come to you. How do you always, be there to snatch a podium away? Because this is like the 5th time you've done it now. So how do you do it?
Yeah, I think it's just consistently trying to be at the top, lurking around, and when opportunities come, I just try to take them. Try to avoid incidents. For example, if we're going side by side with someone and I see no way of getting past them, I'll just back out of it and not try to crash. Just try to continue racing, and I, for example, would give up a position for a better race result in the end.
And when it comes to Brazil, are you finally going to go, one more position better now? Now you can try and get a top step?
Yeah, well, I think that's going to be really hard to get because there's there are a lot of fast drivers around in this league. So I'm just hoping to get onto the podium. But if an opportunity presents itself or the pace is there, then I'll definitely try to go for it.
And with F124 coming out very, very soon, I know we all can be pre-ordering the game. We know we can be playing it for the new season. Is the new game physics hopefully going to go into your Stein Ramavaji, probably give yourself into a championship fight one day?
Yeah, well, I hope so. Yes. I don't know anything about the physics so far, but I will be here. I will be racing in S15, so yeah, I will try to get a title.
Full time, possibly?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's what I'm planning on doing.
Brilliant. Well done, Ravaj. Another podium. Well done.
Thank you.
Go to there, Ramavaj. Well done indeed. Cook it up again, and hopefully we can see you get your second win as well, because you have brilliant pace for the whole season. In fact, so we move on to Bearimi, mate, just missed out on a win, but however your pace has been very strong in the last few races. Obviously we saw in Mexico you had the pace up there, but the collision with your teammate put you down, but you've always been up there, and this is now your 3rd podium of the season as well. So how do you feel? Are you a bit disappointed? Do you feel like it could be a bit more, or are you happy with the result?
Today I'm happy with the result. An answer to your question there is that I like medium speed corners. So we are, there are several tracks now as I'm aware of, like Mexico, this track, Brazil, Japan, etc. Like those tracks suits me very well. So for sure that's the reason why I have stepped up the game.
And also, you pairing with Harry Kane this season, do you think it's been a lot better? Because you guys, I think, are leading the championship, maybe after this race, but yeah, you guys lead the championship, so are you working really well with your teammate Harry Kane?
Yeah, of course. It was a shame what happened last race, and it was something with his internet who made that happen. But in the end, I had a okay result in Mexico. So yeah, it was a shame. I was leading and sort of in a breakaway. So for a moment, so I had the pace to win, I guess. But yeah, fourth place was good enough.
Yeah, nice to see you back in the podium. Nice to see you back in the podium too, because your last podium was in Azerbaijan. We all know what happened there. You stayed out on late. You stayed out on very old tyres indeed, because your fellow Norwegian driver Draugen was catching you very rapidly, but you held on as well. So nice to see you back in the podium. Do you think Draugen might have cost you in the win today, because the clock came out ahead of him and you were behind him as well, so you had to overtake him on the track? But do you think he might have hindered your performance to catch Glock?
I'm not sure. I think I did catch Glock. I was underneath a second behind him, but when the conditions started changing and it stopped raining, it was like he found more grip than me, and he had more truly more performance on that change in the weather than I had, and I was just afraid to just spin around or drive off the track, so I decided to just try to take care of the car and bring it home. So and the same happened when we put on the soft tire. He was much quicker the first laps, and then when the grip came back, I think I stepped up the game and was able to hunt him down, but in the end it was a few laps. It should have been a few more laps, and I think I could have catch him.
Yeah, it is quite difficult to stay behind somebody in the wet conditions with the turbulent air as well, and being the wet condition itself, it's just very tricky in those high-speed corners, losing the grip. But you've had some phenomenal pace this season, and also we've still got quite a few races left to go as well in this championship fight. Do you think at all that you could try and close on the championship? Not too far away actually, the championship fight in first place.
I think we might. Me and Glock, we got a little bit closer to Hurricane and MDJ, so I think this race was good for the championship. But I'm not sure how far behind we are now, but I think we were around 50 points behind them. So yeah, let's see. I hope we can come back, but it's hard to be a teammate with one of the other of the best races here, because if there's a safety car and you're the second car, you lose out every time. So it's not ideal, but I think we could win the championship.
I said that too. The advantages of disadvantages being a teammate very close together with double stacks, etc. If a safety car does come out, if you're on the same child strategy and you have to pit to make the strategy work. So yeah, you've got to sacrifice a lot, because I remember back in Baku where you were the second driver, but Harry Kane stayed out and you were able to pit as well. So yeah, it is you got to make decisions at the right time. It can be very tough decision making, and one of you got to sacrifice your own race as well. So do you have that in your mind as well during racing?
Yeah, of course we are talking underneath the race. So every time there's a safety car or a virtual safety car, we have to communicate. So it's we have to do it fast. In real F1 they have 30-40 people who help them taking that decision in a split second. But we have to do it ourselves. So it's quite tricky.
It is indeed, mate. But you got some phenomenal pace this season. Ever since you joined SFR last season as well, I think you had a podium or two last season, and you've been on form as well. So you were from Aston Martin towards Red Bull. What influenced the decision to come to Red Bull in Baku? What team were you in before Baku? Was it Aston Martin?
I think it was Martin. He in one way it looked like when I was driving Aston and Harry was driving Red Bull, that we were working together and at some point you have to work together when it's close and you're fighting like this. Like I didn't when Glock passed me today, I just let him go and just stayed behind him and manage ERS and fuel level. So somewhere you have to work together when it's close fighting, and I think Martin and other racers here in the league thought we were working too much together. So I think it's okay that we teamed up.
I think it was a good decision. Oops, sorry about that.
Yeah, and there was in my team OWR we were there were several racers who were put down in the second division, so we had to do something to make the rest of us be on teams. So it was an easy decision to team up with Harry.
Thank you very much, mate. And you're also P1 in the championship of the constructors, and still I think you're P1. So yeah, you're both working really well together, collecting the points as well. Because I know Mercedes, you got quick drivers, but one seems to be off the other, and same with Williams as well. Whereas both Red Bulls are always at the top, whereas Williams and Mercedes have to be as well. That's what makes the difference to the constructors, scoring the most points. So Oliver, you got any questions for Barry me?
No, you probably covered them all. Just one question, mate. How are you looking forward to Brazil? Is Ben Reby going to get, like the same question for Amavage, are you going to try and go for the top step on the podium? It's going to be a difficult one, but is it going to be a challenge to get a top step?
Yeah, indeed, it's going to be a challenge. And it is like Ramavash, he had a few wise words there. You have to... So sometimes you just have to let go in the fight and hope that the guys in front does mistakes. So, but if I'm there, I will try to challenge for the win. Of course, I love Brazil. It's one of my best tracks. So yeah, looking forward to it.
And also go forward with the championship as well. Is it going to be one of those? Is that if Bear Reby and yourself and Harry Kane are going to be contentious for the championship fight, who's going to get the more priority, you or Harry Kane, in terms of Red Bull themselves?
I don't know. In one way, we race as a team, but we also race for each self. So it's no orders from any team bosses here. So yeah, it goes like it goes.
Well done on your P2, and just missing out, but well done for it was tricky out there. It looked very, very treacherous out there with the wet conditions and downforce. I could never do it. Literally, you guys are absolutely immense. Brilliant.
Thank you. It was fun, and congrats to the other guys on the podium.
That'll be Mr. Glock, who Redemption Day beating Williams at last of the many times he won, but well done to Glock. He absolutely deserved the victory. The Mercedes looked on rails today, I would say the least, Jamie.
Indeed, and I messaged Glock, and Glock says probably my most comfortable race and victory this season. Setup was amazing and had a great battle with Bear Me, Glock says. So yeah, respect there for both ways between Glock and Bear Me. And yeah, what a comeback drive, revenge drive for Glock, and this will definitely put him up in the championship, further up, maybe take the championship lead, who knows. But anyways, we'll ride off the Netherlands Grand Prix Zandvoort, and we move on to Interlagos at Brazil at 7:30 next Tuesday. Tune in for another great race there. Brazil always tends to put on a good show, especially with the weathers and the safety car, the tyre strategies, the DRS trace, etc., and the battles, of course. So tune in there. But for now, it's goodbye from us, and we'll see you all later.